If you see the game, I think we had some chances to win the game. We tried to use the pace in transitions, defending a little more in the low block, but we had our chances, and we had some moments with the ball, and we pushed City to their half. I think we were near the goal, but if you look at the game, you can accept the draw. We were closer, I think, to the goal. They have more possession. That is normal. Ederson did quite well because we had some moments in the pass was in the they used a good pass in the overlap sometimes, things that we didn't do against Nottingham, and then Ederson was there. But if you look at the team, we have so much to improve in every aspect of the game, so that is one more. I think everywhere we need to improve in every aspect of the game, build up, transition, decision clearly in the final third. So we have to improve in every aspect.
Watching Man City has been a little bit disappointing this season. I think I mentioned before about how incredibly well they've done over the past 4 seasons, winning the league, but there's been a massive drop-off. Also in midfield, I think the team looks a lot older now. Man City were pressing. Normally they do it with intent, urgency. Now everything's a little bit too easy. And if you beat the first line of press, normally have the defenders or midfielders backing you up. Fernandes was just getting the ball in the middle of midfield, playing, doing exactly what he needed to do. I think they've just lost the intensity. That's what I think it is. I think that they're tired. It's so hard seeing him like this after being so good for so many years. But he knows, Pep Guardiola, there. You could see in his interview there, coming to Old Trafford in a derby, they're normally better than that. And today it was just flat. We can't make excuses. The game was dull, and we expect more for them.
In every game I try to be better. You know, I had a little bit of adaptation to have when I come, but now it's better in every game. I'll try to help the team and to be at 100%.
Maybe in that position. So I don't know. I think the last games we are much better. The back four was excellent, and just our process was not, and we know that. So all the time we know that when we lose the ball in certain positions, they are incredible, strong team, and they punish you in the transitions. We know that. So they are really good in that. And of course, always you have to be a little bit alert, but always you can find it. So all the time we came here in Etihad, I think Ruben is going to try to make incredible good build-up. I know they do the process really well, but mainly is a team, but and transitional team and counter-attack is so dangerous.
No, happy with the performance. Obviously the result not. We want to win games and we need points in the league. We are aware of that. Obviously we played against a very good side. I think the game was there for both teams. I think we were a little bit more dangerous. We create more opportunities. We just need to be a little bit more, have more the instinct, the killer instinct, to get the goals. In the first half I think we had too many chances and we have to get one. When you play against City, they want to have the ball. They will overload places and sides, and you have to be patient with your pressure, but I think we did that very well today. We are very well organized, but as I said, the killer instinct today was missing a little bit, but we created a lot of chances. That's a good point. But I wasn't worried about the defensive organization or the speed of the team going backwards, pressing, because when we play big teams, we have showed that. Yeah. The problem is when you go to some games where we think probably that we are the better team, and then we don't do it in the same pace as we should do. But we growing in that. We understanding that without suffering, that's what the manager says to us a lot of times. If it doesn't see us suffering, that means that we're not doing 100%. So today we did it, but we have to carry on. This not just for the rest of the season, but for everything that comes after. My responsibility is doing the best I can for the team, because that's the responsibility everyone has. Obviously, we know that I will get more attention than some others probably, because being the captain and being here for so many years, and I need to be at the level of this club every time I step off the dressing room to go to the pitch. Obviously, sometimes you don't, but the effort is always there. That won't miss from my side. It could miss technically, tactically a little bit sometimes, but effort-wise we'll never miss, and that has to be my main thing to show to the other ones.
But then there's also a sort of bigger point of just this robotic element that we're seeing creep in, not creeping, it's flooding in over this last sort of year or two, and I think it's an element of, you know, the greatest manager, one of the greatest managers of all time, Pep Guardiola's style of play, infiltrating everybody else over the last 10 years, but then what we're seeing is almost like a sort of poor man's adaptation of it. City are obviously in a difficult moment compared to where they've been in the last few years, so they haven't got the quality of player out on the pitch to implement Pep's style. There's no David Silva, Aguero's out there, and players that we've seen in the past. So, yeah, but I just think on that final point, I know it's very basic to say go and win the game with 20 minutes to go. That's an instruction a manager would give a group of players, which gives them some freedom. Where's the freedom in that football match? There's none. And I can't accept that. I'm getting really angry with it, because when I say these players, these are fantastic players, by the way, but they're frightened to death to move out of their positions or do anything that might just cost them a mistake that costs them the game. So what we saw at the end of the game there was a group of players congratulating each other, smiling with each other, the managers smiling with each other, and United almost did a lap of honour. Understandably, they kept a clean sheet. That's something to be proud of, and United aren't in a great moment. But the reality is, where was the disappointment and anger that they didn't win the game? Great sides and big personalities and characters feel disappointed when they've played like that and it's been an insipid game and they haven't won. And I think actually Bruno stands out from that, because I do think he was actually the best player on the pitch. I do think that he was someone who, to be fair, had real quality when he got the ball, but he was one amongst very few in the whole game, and I even include City's players.
But there still has to be a change of mindset. You have to start somewhere. Yeah, you have to start somewhere. This is a derby game where Man City have come, who aren't in great form themselves. They're a good team, and obviously you've got quality players. So it's a home game. You're thinking, listen, City aren't that great. You've had one opportunities, and they've had chances, and they're making the wrong decision. People not getting in the box, people not hitting the target, people not taking opportunities. And again, it's the mindset of find a way to win. Find a way to get a set piece, get a last minute. City defended quite well. I think some good crosses going into the box, and the two centre-halves in particular, I think, done quite well. But I still look at this Man United team, and I'm going back over the last year or two, not just today, and going, where is that mindset and that gamble from somebody to say, even 2 or 3 pop, I'm going to get in, I'm going to get across the near post, I'm going to produce them. And we're waiting for Bruno to do it all the time. He does it a lot of time, but it needs other players to step up to the plate. And when you sign for Man United, there is that responsibility, because they all sit there and they'll sit down and they'll discuss their contract for months and get a deal done. But when you do that and you come to Man United, you do look and go, no, lads, there is a responsibility of playing for Man United.
You come back to the sort of basic essence of football when you play as a kid in the yard, in the school playground, or in the backyard as a kid, and it's exciting and there's a thrill to it. And 75,000 people have rocked up today. There might be Manchester City fans, kids who are coming to their first Manchester derby at Old Trafford. There might be kids who are coming to watch the first Old Trafford Manchester derby for United fans, and they've watched that. And that's why I feel just sometimes, I get 0-0s can happen, but that game today wasn't a game. That's not a Premier League game of football. It's not representative of the Premier League. It's not representative of Manchester City now they've been over the last few years. And seeing them walk around at the end together, sort of clapping, sort of shaking each other's hands and smiling with each other. Where was the disappointment that they'd played like that in a game, or that they'd drawn 0-0? This is an exceptional team with one of the greatest coaches of all time. And there was no intensity whatsoever from them. And United are in a difficult moment, but there's no intensity from United or risk to win the game. That's why I'm disappointed. It's such a drab affair. You don't normally see that.
Draw's not too bad. A draw gets you nowhere fast. And same a couple of weeks ago with Arsenal home here. I know they've beaten Leicester and the Real Sociedad. Again, I'm talking about just the last few games where you look and going, but this is not enough. This is not good enough. And I'm not, so we're.
But that's the level that they are now.
So forget the teams that I played for. But I'm on about United. Forget the top 3 or 4 teams. I'm on about competing with Brentford and Crystal Palace and Fulham and Wolves and all these teams. Are you telling me Man United should be behind them? The majority of these players should be doing better than the teams I've just mentioned. Do you think Man United should be scoring more goals than Wolves? If we want to start somewhere, you've got to have a starting point. You go, right, in terms of scoring goals, Man United over the history, you're talking about the Cantonas, the Hughes, and Man United, it's about entertaining fans today.
I understand everything. I understand that Gary Neville is critical about everything, so I understand that part. And then I understand that we are not fighting. We are in the moment that we are doing the worst season in history. Manchester City won everything in the past. This season is struggling, so we are not in the best moments to give the best spectacle to every fans. And then when we are not fighting for the big things, of course it's it's different. But you have to look at the context of the game, and I understand the critical aspect of the players that played in this game in a different way, because they were fighting every time for the titles. So it's a different context.